Hello and welcome to our today's session. We'll see automation testing concept with example that every QA must know. Okay. So today's session we are discussing the basic automation testing concepts. It does not matter whether you are working with Selenium with Java or Selenium with Playwrights or any other automation tool. Okay. So we'll start with the test automation framework. Okay. So a test automation framework is a structured set of guidelines, tools, and the best practices used to design and execute the automated test scripts. Okay. Again, this test automation framework it's varies company to company. Okay. So here I give the example like if in case we are using the hybrid framework, then framework is nothing but the combination of the page object model plus data driven approach. Okay, it depends on the company to company. Okay, the next page object model. Okay, it's also called form model. Okay, it's a nothing but it's a design pattern where each web page is represented as a class. Okay, so here I give the example. For example, login page.java. Okay, so if you consider these things, then it contains the locators and all the related login page methods. Okay, like login, okay, with valid username, valid password, then error message. Okay, so we'll write all the methods here. The next test script, okay, automated code written to validate the application functionality. It's called a test script. Okay, example Selenium script verifying the login functionality. So we'll call a test script. Okay, so these are all are the terminologies or the concept. Okay, so when we are talking about the automation testing, okay, so everyone should know these things. Then test suite, okay, it's a collection of test scripts, okay, which we are going to execute together. Okay, example, regression suite for check out the flow. Then next is test case. Okay, it's a specific scenario with steps, data, and the expected result. Okay, example, verify user can log in with valid credentials. Then next is assertions. Okay, it validating point comparing expected result versus actual result. Okay, here we can put the assertion different way. Assert equals actual title, comma expected title. Then next is a locator strategy. It is a techniques to identify the UI elements. Okay, we can identify the UI elements using the XPath, CSS, ID, name. Okay, so there are different ways to identify the locator. So here I give the example by.id and the username. Then the test data management, it is a handling the test data for the execution. Okay, so when we are using the hybrid framework, we are passing the test data in different format, like it may be using the Excel, JSON, okay, for login credentials, like valid username, valid password, then valid username, invalid password, then invalid username, valid password, this kind of different combinations. Okay, then hard wait versus explicit wait. Okay, so hard wait is a fixed delay. Okay, then explicit wait is equal to we can say dynamic wait. Okay, so WebDriver wait is an example of we can say the explicit wait. Okay, for element visibility. Okay, then test environment. So test environment it is nothing but the it's a setup where testing is performed. So like as we saw like last session, like we have different test environment like QA environment, UAT environment, PT environment, staging environment. Okay, so all these are called the test environment where we can perform the testing. Then data driven testing. Okay, so if in case we need to run the multiple tests with with same method, then we can use the data driven testing. Okay, login test with multiple users. Okay, so here we'll write the only one method login test. Okay, but we'll give the different combination like valid username, valid password, valid username, invalid password, invalid username, valid password, invalid username, invalid password, kind of the data. Either we will send in XLS or in JSON format. Then keyword driven framework. Okay, so in keyword driven framework, we are using the keywords like click, enter text, and we are passing the data. So example, Excel based keyword execution. Okay, next framework is the BDD, behavior driven development. Okay, so test written in a business readable format. Like Gherkin syntax we are doing. Okay, we are writing our script like given when then. So here I give the example. Okay, it's like a simple plain text like BDD scenarios like given user is on the login page when user entered the credentials, then user is logged in. Okay, so this is the Gherkin language. Okay, basically this Gherkin language is used for the BDD framework and the simple format given when then. We need to remember it. Then step definition. What is the step definition? That the code implementation of the Gherkin steps. The Java methods map to given when and then. Then test runner. It execute the test cases. Okay. So here TestNG runner class. We are writing it. Then parallel execution. So parallel execution nothing but running the test simultaneously, like running 10 tests in a parallel using TestNG. Okay, like if you return the 10 test, okay, and if you are executing sequentially, it will take a more time. Okay, but if you run the same test, 10 test parallel, okay, so then it saves the execution times. Okay, and using TestNG, we can do it. Then cross browser testing. Okay, testing across multiple browsers. Okay, it's nothing but we can test the our application in Chrome browser, Firefox browser, and Edge browser. Okay, how this is the possible? Using Selenium we can do it. Okay, and that is called the cross browser testing. Then headless testing is nothing but running the test without UI, so we will not able to see the UI. Okay, Chrome headless mode. Okay, so when we are writing the test scripts, okay, so when we are in base class, or in, we can say, before class, okay, we will define the this Chrome headless mode. Okay, then our entire scripts or entire suite will execute in headless mode only. Then test coverage, percentage of application tested, that 80% of functional coverage. We need to give them update when any management asks, okay, how much percentage we have covered through automation, then we need to mention 80% or whatever the 85% functional coverage through automation. The next, continuous integration, or it's also called the CI. So it automatically running the test on the code commit. Okay, so as and when dev team is commit the code, okay, so we'll create a pipeline, okay, so that it automatically trigger the test after the code commit. Okay, like here you can give the example, Jenkins triggering the test execution. Okay, then continuous testing. Okay, testing throughout SDLC pipeline is nothing but the running the API. Plus, we'll also cover the UI test in pipeline. Okay, then build pipeline. So automated workflow for build. We can build it, then test it and deploy it. Okay, so for this one we can use the Jenkins pipeline stages. Okay, and for Git. Okay, so for the version control management, we can use the Git. Okay, code repository management, and our all the code like automation script or the framework, all the code we can push in Git. Okay, that is called the version control. Okay, GitHub for the test script. Then sometimes we are saying the merge conflict is happening. Okay, suppose our two team members working on the same module, okay, and the same method, then definitely conflict is coming. Okay, so that is called the merge conflict when merging the code changes, so two tested modifying the same file. Okay, then test execution report. Okay, summary of the test result. Okay, so when we execute the automation script, okay, and suppose we have considered the regression suite. Okay, after the entire suite execution, okay, then we can see the test result. So here we can use the extend report and we can see the entire test cases. Then test logs. It's a detailed execution log. Okay, so when we are executing our framework, okay, so definitely we have used the log4j logs. Okay, so this is called the test logs. So here we give the all the granular details. Okay, then artifacts. It's the output of the build process. Okay, like test report, screenshot, and other things. When we execute the automation scripts, okay, definitely all the automation scripts are not running. Some of the scripts are failing. Okay, so using the screenshot, we will identify why scripts got failed, whether it's application issue or the script issue. Okay, so as and when the scripts gets failed, okay, we will take the screenshot. Okay, then Docker. Okay, it's running the test in isolated environment. So like example, Selenium grid in Docker. Then what is Selenium grid? It distributed test execution system. So running test on multiple machines. Okay. Then API testing. It's a validating the backend services. So REST API validate using the REST Assure. Okay. And what are the HTTP methods we are covering as a part of API testing, like get, post, put, delete. Okay, so post is a kind of like a to create a user. Okay, and it returns a like response code like 201. Okay, then request and response. Okay, so input sent. Okay, and the output received from API. So JSON response validation. Okay, here we give the status code validation, checking API response code. Like 200 means okay, 404 means not found. Okay, then what is the schema validation? Validating the response structure, like JSON schema validation. Okay. Then we'll also see what is the retry mechanism. So when we are running a test case or test suite, okay, sometimes scripts are failing first time, okay, but it's because of the application slowness issue. Okay, it's not a code side issue. So we'll go one more try. Okay, that is nothing but the rerunning failed test automatically. Okay, so that is called TestNG retry analyzer. Okay, so using TestNG, we can execute the same test case. If in case it is got failed, it will execute 2 3 times. Okay, again it's a like configurable value. Okay, so flaky test. So flaky test is nothing but a test that randomly fails. Okay, sometimes it's part, sometimes it's fail. Okay, due to timing issues. Okay, then self-healing automation. So auto fixing locators using AI. Okay, that is called self-healing automation. For example, when we develop the script, okay, and we use the some id, and when developer change that id somehow because of the code fix, okay, or any other reason, okay, so our automation script, okay, through AI, okay, it will identify the nearby the locators, okay, and our script will not fail because of the locators not identified, because since our locator id got changed. Okay, so that is the mechanism, or we can use the tools like Selenium. Okay, and it's nothing but it's called self-healing automation. Then next is shift left testing, which means testing early in the development. So writing test cases during the design phase itself only. And shift right testing means testing in production. So monitoring the real user behavior. Okay. So as a full stack QA, we are involving right from beginning. That means shift left testing also we are doing, shift right testing also doing. We are doing all types of this testing, and all these concepts and terminologies we should know it. Then visual testing. Okay, so it's a UI comparison testing, like screenshot comparison. Nothing. Okay. Then accessibility testing. This is also very important types of the accessibility testing. So it ensures the usability for all the users. Okay. And we'll use it WCAG compliance. Okay. Then performance testing integration. So combination of automation and the performance checks, like trigger JMeter from the pipeline. Okay. So you will do it performance testing integration. Then test orchestrations. Okay. Managing multiple test executions, like running UI plus API plus DB test together. Okay. And then the last, we can see the concept AI in testing. So this AI in testing nowadays came. So using AI we can use in automation testing to generate the script and the maintenance. Okay. So like here ChatGPT, using ChatGPT. Okay. So we can create a test script. Okay. So this is the so these are all the like automation testing concept or the terminologies that everyone should know. Okay, so if in case you have any questions, queries, please let me know. Thank you.